Hello, amazing souls. Do you ever find yourself doubting that gut feeling and second guessing your every choice? Or maybe feeling disconnected from your spirit guides? If you're nodding along, you've landed in the right place. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast. I'm Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm Emily Pearl. We're all about demystifying soul energy, emotional awareness, developing your intuition, and the Akashic Records. We're here to make these powerful tools accessible on your journey of self discovery.
So pull up a chair, relax your vibe, and let's jump right into today's show. Hey there, amazing soul friends, and welcome to today's show. Emily and I are excited to be with you once again, and we're going to talk about something very near and dear to us, and we get to experience all the time with all of our journeys into the Akashic Records, and that's the science behind the Akashic Records being the marriage of magic and logic.
Magic and logic, magic and logic. I guess it would be what? Science and spirituality. Welcome, everyone. It's going to be a fun show today. And today's number 33.
Yeah, been a magical number for Emily and I for a long time. The first home we purchased together, the address was 33.
Yeah. Actually, that was the second house that I lived in that had the address 33 in Asheville.
Cool. That's the only one I've done.
Kendall Street was 33 too.
Oh, neat.
It's funny.
And if you're unfamiliar, 33 is kind of a master number, and, you know, the masters of loving light are watching over you. They're with you.
It's how old I was when I got married to my honey.
Yeah.
And also how old my mom was when she had me.
That's right. You've got a handful of connections to 33. All right, y'all. We're going to jump right in and get going. Emily and I pretty much firmly believe that the highest good for all as a way forward is to bring together logic and magic. And it's happening in the world. I mean, we live in duality with extreme polarities, and there are still people that, you know, are on one side of the fence or the other and want to deny aspects of creation. But really, it's this coming together, coming out of this patriarchy and into the Aquarian age where the quantum is available, where we realize everything is interconnected more. And we just think this is really the way to go. In between like science and religion is mysticism. And if we allow the mystical and bring these two worlds together, then we can really view life from all angles. We can take off blinders and really get the wider perspective, the higher awareness, and not limit ourselves to interpreting things from one extreme or another, and just let our experiences be what they are and what they mean to us as being the most important, and not trying to put it in a box of, well, this makes sense scientifically, or this makes sense to me spiritually, or this is just magical, or this is just logical. Like, we can just bring it all together and let it be what it is. And I think that's super important. And we do live in duality, and duality has served us. It's helped us to know things because we experience the polarity. You know, stuff like we can appreciate the light because we've experienced the dark. We can appreciate love because we've experienced or known or been met with hate in our lives. We can appreciate joy because we've known sorrow. So I'm not saying duality is a bad thing and that we have to drop it and put it down. But when we just keep viewing things as one or the other and not, we're multidimensional beings, that we experience it all from all these different angles. It's this and it's not either or.
Mm.
I think it's a really positive way that we can move forward as a worldwide community and as our smaller communities together.
Yeah. I mean, especially because we're moving forward to where the individual is going to start to be more on the forefront as far as listening to your own intuitive guidance. And your intuitive guidance doesn't just have to be this magical thing that's inaccessible. It can be something that everyone has access to within their own being, and you can actually use it in a very logical way. And we're actually going to be talking about how, well, one of the ways you can use it really logically, but you can use it really logically just period. You know, but you see it by what happens when you follow your intuition and you're like, oh, wow, this thing happened. You know, there's actual tangible results that you get from using your intuition and following your own guidance. And when you see those tangible results, or they, show up in your life, then that seems really logical.
Absolutely. I think it is logical to say I used my magical intuition, this gift, this divine birthright that we all have, and I've validated it through my life experience as being something worthwhile, as being something that was correct, as being something that I want to tap into more of. I want to learn how to get even more accurate information more consistently, because the logical side of this is working. There are both magical and logical applications for using the Akashic Records. It is both at once. It is magic and logic that's happening. Tapping into the records in your soul's record or whatever you're going to research, it's not either or. It really is magic and logic at the same time unfolding for you.
Well, yeah, because the Akashic Records, you can pretty much access any kind of information that you would like, and you can use a very scientific approach with it. I mean, you can go into the records with a theory, and then you can research that theory, and then you can experiment on that theory, and then, come up with a conclusion. And you can do this over and over again to really come up with real results, like real tangible scientific results from this information that you can access. So yeah, you can definitely use a very logical approach in the Akashic Records, but I feel like what we teach is a very logical approach to accessing the information as well.
I think it's one of the best ways to go in and learn is to kind of have a logical approach at first and integrate more of the magical, more of the open-ended questioning and channeling and just kind of receiving intuitive guidance, as opposed to going in with more, methodology like we like to teach at the beginning. So we teach kind of both, but I really like that foundation. One of our mentors taught us these particular techniques and stuff that we have kind of honed in our own way and developed, and now that we're passing on to others. And it's just, I love that I've learned that, and I've learned a few other different ways to go in and navigate the records and different areas within there. But I love the logical approach that we have about that we have formulated kind of a scientific method for retrieving information, you know what I mean? And then we open up to the magical side and open up any questions and stuff and just see what happens, if you will, without having any idea what is going to happen. That's the part of the Akashic Records when you're not attached to an answer and you're just open, like you don't know what's coming. Anything and everything is potentially possible for the information you're going to receive.
Yeah, and what Maddie is talking about when we are teaching this scientific approach is we teach muscle testing, essentially, like with the use of a pendulum. And that is how you can access information in a more scientific way. I mean, I was just listening to Brené Brown earlier today, and she was saying that research has shown that people can take in information through their nervous system way before it actually comes into their mind. So that's this nervous system that you're essentially tapping into when you're using a pendulum, when you're using muscle testing, is that you're asking the body, and the body is responding before the mind even knows what the hell is going on. So it's a very scientific approach, and there's lots of research that's been done that talks about this.
Yeah. Most everything that has been misunderstood in life or not understood yet usually has some sort of magical connotation, or it was the religions would, this deity did that, or that's witchcraft or something like that. But there's usually some sort of fear first coming from the misunderstandings. Yeah.
There's fear, and then there's denial, or not necessarily denial, but repulsion. I don't know, what's the word that I'm looking for?
Revulsion?
Well, it's where you just discount it completely. You're like, no, completely go against it.
Oh, you deny.
So I guess denial is the right word.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're in denial that that's even possible or valid because you don't understand it. So it's just wrong. It can have no good here. We're just going to deny that. And to me, and I do want to say that just coming from third dimension and thinking logically, when we access the Akashic Records, I mean, it's kind of a magical thing. We're altering our consciousness to access the records in the first place. It's intuitive. It's navigating other realms or dimensions of existence. And that in and of itself is magical and kind of defies like 3D logic, even though we're going in with a logical approach. And, I've planned some questions ahead of time or topics that I want to research for myself. I've thought about this and then I go in, but it is like a magical thing in and of itself. It's a leap of faith, if you will. And kind of back to the point where Emily was getting, like, the magical's not to be feared. It's just misunderstood at this point. It just gets denied and stuff. I mean, think about some of the big things throughout history. Consider that all weather events were once thought to be a god's doing, some sort of punishment or good fortune, all that tornadoes punishment or, rain for our crops is good fortune. But we now understand it's just weather patterns. It's just seasons changing.
Well, I mean, essentially that kind of is God's doing if your definition of God is is a force.
Well, okay, yes, I agree. I mean, everything we're talking about is set in motion by a creative force of the universe. Is God? God is the universe's doing.
But I definitely don't think it's some like guy up in the sky with white hair, judging everyone, throwing lightning bolts down.
Yeah, I don't think there's a Zeus throwing lightning bolts down at us. Do you know? Whether there was a Zeus in history or time, but I don't think that, I just don't believe that all lightning is Zeus.
So when we speak about God, we're talking about the creative force, which is way beyond our understanding.
Well, I'm thinking specifically deities that humans used to attribute, not just the grand I am of all of us, the God, goddess, the universe, the creative force.
Yeah, there were lots of gods that were doing all kinds of things with the weather.
Yeah, well,
punishing people left and right.
There was a god in a chariot who used to pull the sun across the sky, and we had sunrise and sunset. Humans had no idea that planet Earth was round and spun on an axis as we've chased the sun through the galaxy, following in its wake, and then we get sunset and sunrises because of this. There are things like epilepsy and other neurological disorders that were once thought to be a sign of possession due to the uncontrollable limb movement, symptoms of seizures, or talking rapidly without like seemingly making sense, talking in tongues. But now we understand that these are signs of a disorder. It's not possession. It's not some, out of control energy happening. I mean, people may feel out of control, but we can actually break it down scientifically and logically and know what's going on inside somebody's brain and the neurology of that person.
Well, sadly, and so often people that came forward with their intuitive gifts or said that, God was speaking to them, then they were sent to like some sort of mental institution and tied up and drugged. But yet it was totally fine for, the people of the church to have God speaking to them. But, those people, no. It's okay for them. They're not crazy, but you are.
Yeah, I've never understood where they can draw a line in the sand as an organized religion that it's okay to have God speak to you and it's not okay to have God speak to you. It just makes no sense, defies the whole personal relationship with the creative force of the universe for me. But I don't want to jump way down that rabbit hole.
Exactly. Of just how uncool that is. But I mean, that's definitely something that like it reigns deep within the intuitive,
the past life energy of
life energy
oh, absolutely.
Of getting tied, drugged for trying to do good.
Because it must be the work of the devil or witchcraft. If you can intuitively help somebody, or if you understand plant medicines and can make a potion, a magical potion, because you understand plant medicines, or a poultice or something that could help somebody heal. That's not right. That's the witchcraft. Are you kidding me?
It's completely overlooked.
You were going to die and now you're not. But I'm in the wrong here.
Kill
what?
You either.
Yeah.
So that seems like it's some sort of like, okay, that's a wonderful thing. Okay, but we're going.
Okay, I'm done with that tangent. All right. And it's not just, let's back away from science and religions here, because that's not the only thing that's misunderstood. Consider like our place in the galaxy. Until recently, we used to think that the only planets in our universe were in our solar system. And
Things
Earth
should-
being the only one that could possibly support life, like life as we consider it, at least carbon-based life, to even get outside of that and start to consider other forms or potentials, for non-physical 3D living and places that have light bodies and stuff. We don't even have to go there yet.
Right.
And now with the Hubble and the James Webb telescopes, NASA's proven the existence of planets orbiting every star they've checked. There are estimated to be 700 quintillion planets in the universe.
Yeah, I can't even fathom that number.
And I feel pretty safe going out on a ledge and saying Earth's not the only planet that supports life in this universe.
I mean, the probability, if we're going to be scientific here, the probability is pretty high.
Yeah, I'd say, 99.9999999% sure there's life somewhere else in this galaxy. I'm pretty sure there's life within our own solar system too. It's not carbon-based life that we found yet.
Vibrating on a different vibration to where our eyes and our telescopes and satellites can't see it.
What is it? The visible light spectrum that humans can see it's like 0.37 10,000ths of 1% of all different potential visible spectrums within the universe that we need tools to see. Like we see like 1/3 of 1/10,000th of that, of 1% of that. Like, you know what I mean? There's got to be something out there.
See visually.
But
yeah, we're trying to understand the entire universe with such a limited scope.
Yeah. So can you just logically be open to magic, to the possibilities of things we don't understand yet, that we will understand in the future? Because that's been happening in our recorded history already. I just find this kind of stuff super fascinating.
Totally. So interesting and intriguing. Just to see all the changes that have happened like through our lifetime. Like pretty much like when I went to college 20 years ago, like all the information I learned is obsolete.
Oh yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, we were just talking today about the scientific method, that it used to be 4 steps and started with your hypothesis, and now they've added 3 steps before that, which is basically what you've already done to even want to formulate a hypothesis, is you've already observed something and, and stuff like that makes you go, okay, I've got a hypothesis of why it really works this way. So, I mean, just that in of itself, we were both like, wait a minute, no, it wasn't 7 steps. It was 4 when we were in school. So we're probably giving our age away right there on that.
I mean, I guess not all the information that I studied is obsolete, but definitely in my astronomy class. I mean, I feel like the sociological theories have developed into something new, but I don't think they're completely obsolete. And the psychological theories.
Oh,
and
no.
the Eastern, like the Asian philosophy.
They've been around too long to be obsolete.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So not everything is obsolete.
My beautiful cursive handwriting's obsolete.
Kids don't know what that is these days.
Nope. So let's dive into more Akashic Records specific things where you really have this marriage of magic and logic happening. We've kind of already hinted on things. We get excited and start talking, but one of the things we wanted to talk about, and if you've been listening to our podcast, you know that we do soul journey Akashic readings, really super in-depth soul personality profiles for our clients, where you were born and incepted in this universe and what you're up to in a light body and through past lifetimes and the challenges and life lessons and your innate strengths and gifts and archetypes that you bring, like all this super cool shit. All of it is just amazing. But we dive in and we do this often where we're in the Akashic Records, researching a soul's energy. And we have a very logical approach. We already know 16 categories of, there's a couple more that don't always show up. So there's like 18 categories of information. And depending if they actually have a couple of these, they'll get like 18 categories. Otherwise, you're definitely going to get 16 categories of information. So we go in, we have this logical approach. We know a bunch of the questions we're going to ask. We know information that we're looking for. Emily mentioned that we use our pendulums a lot. So we're going in, we're looking for yes, no questions or answers to our questions that we have set up. And, this stuff is like prearranged and specific. And then we open ourselves up to a magical approach because every soul is unique and the answers we're getting may not quantify that soul's experience. So I need to check. Hey, I have some information together. Is this all I need to relay to a soul? No. Great. Well, what else is there? And then I have to open up, get outside of my logical prearranged stuff and allow for the magical side of, I don't know what's about to come. I don't know what information I'm going to receive to pass on.
And the information that we use and that we're checking on for these soul journey reports was a very very scientifically gathered in the first place. And it's been tested for they started gathering this information over 30 years ago, and it's been tested for at least, from our mentor for over 13 years. Wait, even longer than that now, because it's been probably
18 years.
It was 13 when we started. So yeah, 18 years of testing, and then all of her students have been testing all this information, and then we have been testing with all of our clients. And it is a very scientific approach. Like, all this information was gathered in a very scientific way as well, and tested and retested, and it wasn't even released until it was tested so many times to see how many people resonated with the information and how correct and true it felt for them.
Yeah,
it's pretty mind-blowing information. It's like, it's
like get out of my head, like mind-blowing information, you know. How can you know that about me type of things that we can relay?
Yeah, we've actually had clients say that to us. Like, I think that you probably know me better than anyone else now.
We know your soul better.
And like,
maybe.
That is just,
but the human that you are,
like,
I don't know.
I almost want to cry, like, thinking about it. Like, wow, that's like so incredible. And I just feel so honored to be able to know someone in that way.
It is very inspiring to communicate on the back end when we do our 90-minute coaching call. And because I feel like I intimately know this soul, but I have no idea who the human is. Occasionally we do these readings for people that we know, but 95% or higher of them, we don't know them at all. I've had no interactions with the person, and then get a meeting to human and kind of close that gap, that circle, and meet the human for 90 minutes. That is that intimate soul, like, that we got to meet. It's really kind of cool. And I'm glad that you hit on the fact that, like, that's what we mean about, like, this information's tested. It's passed on. We're meeting with people, and if anything comes up that they're like, yeah, I don't really know if this jives with me, I don't really feel this, like, we take note of that. And this kind of stuff has been done by our mentors and her mentors and all of her students, and us, that if things were to come up a few times, then you start to go, okay, well, maybe this information doesn't really apply to every Earth soul or every vegan soul or everybody with this particular life lesson. And then when we're hearing how much it resonates, then we just know, like, the information that we got, oh, we added in this information. Let's make note of that. Maybe it's valid for other vegan souls or other people with that life lesson and stuff. So it's really kind of a cool process to be a part of this ongoing research.
Yeah.
That Arlen Bach and his wife started, in the late 80s, I think, is when it began. So, it's almost 40 years now. It's getting close. Yeah. It was like 87 or 88. They started to do this work and research starseed souls and where soul energy was coming from and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really a continuation. Or, it really kind of, I guess it's not a continuation because it was all happening around the same time. Like Michael Newton's work and, what is Cannon?
Dolores
Cannon's work. Like, it seems like all of this was, like, coming into play, like, right around the same time. So it was definitely, like, hitting the collective conscious, like, okay, what is up with the soul's journey and how do souls develop?
Oh, totally. Newton had been doing the in-between lifetime readings for probably 2 decades before, but he didn't publish until 94 or 95, Journey of Souls. And I don't know about, off the top of my head, like when Dolores was publishing and speaking, but I know
like right around
she was doing
time.
This kind of work. So, you're right. It was in the mini mass consciousness out there, that it wasn't just 1 or 2 people that were doing this. It's like widespread. And then everybody, when you're coming from all these different angles, and Arlen Bach and his wife doing, like channeling and research and pendulum work in there, and then in between lifetimes, and then Dolores Cannon doing, past life regressions and things. And we're pulling this information together on these souls from different angles. To me, it just makes it that much more valid, that much more scientific, that it's like, well, it's not just me over here. Look at that angle and this angle and over there and them and all these different, it just gets cool.
It's really
like that.
fascinating.
So the Akashic Records aren't just soul records. It's not just going in and researching the energy of souls. That's a big calling for Emily and I. A part of our life's purpose and life's mission is to help other people on their journey of self-discovery, to connect deeper with yourself, to feel that divinity within, to know that you are more than just this lifetime, that you've been stringing together, in up to a couple hundred plus lifetimes, on average 150 or so of this big arc of growth and learning and experience, like to connect people to that. It blew my mind to be a part of that and then to share that. It just feels amazing every single time. And I know that's a big part of my purpose, but there are other people out there that could research the records and not want anything to do with trying to help other people with their self-discovery and their learning or their healing or their awareness that leads to healing because, oh my God, my life lessons and challenges are built around this. And I've been banging my head against the wall. Now I realize this is a part of my life, my experience. I can view it differently. I have this different perspective about it. I don't have to fight against it. I can flow with it and learn with it and move quicker and find an easier way and not repeat the lesson. They get stronger and stronger, move through them so they stay on an easier vibration scale and stuff, But consider a more scientific approach even than we do, like a super logical, side of brain. Like there are areas in the records that are designed for engineers or builders to go in and research schematics and specifics on designs for anything. Designs that they might be working on in the third dimension to tap into the record of that design that they're working on and find missing pieces, or to even go in and think about, are flying cars possible? Well, yes. Well, great. Do we have a design that I can,
Show me how.
what are the schematics? Show me how. And start to get down step by step, part by part, the schematics, and then come back into third dimensional reality with this information and then start to make it work. Well, how do I get the propulsion system right? How do we do this? How do we fuel it? I've got the tech designs, but what can I pull from right now in our world and our reality to make this happen? And then you start exploring things like that. Or, hey, we've got this prototype for something. How do we make it more efficient? I'm going to go in and work on this design, this schematic. So it can be there are areas perfectly set up in the records for people that want to explore this. It's not me. I think it's super cool that that's there, but I'm not the guy that's going in and, reading a million steps and pieces and parts of a blueprint for some new flying car. I'm not that guy. I think it's super cool that somebody can be, but I want to dive into a soul blueprint with its quintillion moving pieces and potentialities and combinations. That's where I want to be. Yeah.
Well, it is thought of, though, that a lot of the really big scientific minds were tapping into something bigger than them. Don't they
totally
say that about Nikola Tesla and Einstein and, so many more? Or they say that they definitely think that they had some sort of connection to some sort of divinity, which was they were probably just tapping into the Akashic Records and that, the information was just flowing through them. They were meant to make a difference. And so therefore, here you go. Here's some information.
Tesla wrote about how he would kind of get into, I don't want to say trance-like states, but he would basically, he never talked, I don't think he ever specifically said the Akashic Records, but he talked about tapping into universal knowledge and having him downloaded, to him.
Yeah, the collective conscious.
Yeah. Some other ones, depending on religious beliefs, thought they were, God was just sharing information with them, or they didn't understand that they had the gift of claircognizance as intuition. I don't know why I knew. I just knew. Exactly. Semantics. Thank you for saying that, babe. Talk about a magical way to quantum leap industries forward. And when you're in the Akashic Records, you can't abuse the Akashic Records. The information is just the truth, but it's for the highest good.
And if you aren't privy to certain information, you just won't get it.
Yeah, I don't go in without integrity, and I'm not trying to abuse information. So I don't know on a personal experiential level, but I've definitely been told that the records just you just don't give access to certain things to certain souls that want to just come and abuse that information or to take it and use it as holding power over others. So consider
I
if,
think we talked about it last time. Sometimes you're just kind of denied information, not
yeah,
because of your intentions, but because you're not ready for it yet.
you need to experience something
There's some
first.
life experience. There's some life experience that you still need in order to learn that next step.
But to go in and like research this new information and the practical applications are for the highest good of all. I mean, think about what we could do bringing new technologies to the planet that would be in harmony with Mother Earth. Something else I find super cool too is one of our favorite energy healers, teachers. I mean, she has her own school that continues on after she's
Schools?
gone. Well,
Like all
schools, oh
over
no,
the
no, they're
world
all over the
too.
world. But yeah, I just meant like base of knowledge schooling that's being taught. But Barbara Brennan, amazing woman. If you're unfamiliar, just look up Barbara Brennan and also take our word for it. Like she's amazing. Get her books, get together, start studying. If people are holding workshops based on her information, I mean, like every one of her students we've encountered have been just super cool. And they're taking this like base of knowledge and then owning it in their own way and doing their own things. It's pretty awesome stuff. But she talked about like in the future timelines that children would go to school by going to the Akashic Records. They'd be taught how to go in and read the records. I mean, can you imagine history lessons? Teaching history as it actually unfolded and not as it was written by the victors or as it was published by some for-profit school book company publishing history and, having certain slants on what should be in there and what shouldn't be in there. Instead, just everything, the truth of everything would be available.
Yeah, no more book banning. No more truth banning.
Yeah, something like that, just I find phenomenal that this could be a more efficient way for kids to go to school. And we brought up this area, this like very technical side that could be there, but pretty much if you can imagine it or area of expertise, sociological things, planetary things, just whatever your thing is, it's in there. There's an area, there's a zone for you that you could dive in and really get down to the nitty gritty and have fun with in the Akashic Records. So kind of a magical approach to a very logical minded people that could be diving in there. And one of the last main areas we wanted to talk about
is healing in the Akashic Records. It feels more magical, but also logical approach to it as well, because any sort of change in your awareness is very logical. I mean, once you bring awareness to any situation, I mean, that is essentially the beginning to healing, and it can happen almost instantaneously because that energy is released, and then that aspect feels really magical.
that's worth repeating. Once you bring awareness to anything, it is the beginning of healing. It's the beginning of shifting. It's the beginning of transformation to bring that higher awareness to something that is challenging you, some unresolved emotion or limiting belief or energy or your relationship, whatever's going on. Thank you, baby. That was beautiful.
Well, I mean, it literally changes your energetic body when you make those connections and bring awareness. That's why energy healing and spiritual healing is so powerful, because once you change your energetic body, then either the physical changes too, if you are willing to accept that awareness and allow for the healing to happen, or you can deny that, and then the energetic body will go right back to where it was.
If you're willing to allow this new awareness, this new information, this new experience to shift you,
I mean, it can happen almost instantaneously.
the physical has no choice but to follow suit unless you start to invalidate or deny it. Then that loop, old repeating patterns could take back over. But somewhere in you will lie dormant that information. And sometimes you need to hear things a few times, or you need to hear it very similar but yet different a few times, and then it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, that's right, I've heard, oh my gosh, those puzzle pieces are really going together now. And then that shift happens.
Yeah, that's so true. Sometimes you definitely have to hear something in different ways, or you have to have a certain person say it to you in order for it to finally bring that awareness into your body.
Yeah, it could totally just be the energy of the person. The words are exactly the same, but you're jiving with the energy. You're a different person now than you were that first time too. Who knows? But exactly that. It just, no right or wrong. It was just the right time for you. Yeah.
Well, and that kind of brings me back to that point that I made earlier too, that when, the few times that we've been denied information, I don't want to, it's just like, you're not ready for it yet. And then it was like, we had to have some sort of awareness and energetic shift within our body in order to go back. And then it's like, oh, then that puzzle piece fits right in.
Yep.
It's like, you have a couple things need to move around first in order to make space for that next puzzle piece. And then it happens. And that's kind of the same, along the same line of the energetic body.
I just feel like logically, now that you can like do something with this knowledge, this awareness that you've gained, I really do feel that it helps you to not succumb to these energies that have been holding you back, those unresolved emotions or that past life vow or an energetic block, whatever the issue may be. But you are more empowered to not succumb to these energies because you've shifted that awareness. And I find that that's a big part of that is now you're becoming more empowered. It's that first step towards healing and transformation because you're more empowered now. You have more information in your logical disposal to make sense of your world now, and so you are shifting in that energetic body and that will shift in your physical world. I think too, as you gain towards the process of healing, that we gain more insight and more in clarity, naturally, once you've had that higher awareness, I think you start to come into your own responsibility for these energies in your life. You start to be able to be open to the fact that life's happening for you and not to you. Can start to shift the balance out of maybe being a victim or victimhood consciousness and being the responsible creator who has the power to create change, because we all have that within us. That is a universal truth. And then as you approach the actual shift and the full-on healing and putting those final puzzle pieces together, you're in the records. Like, I think this is one of the most magical moments as you've done the work, you've gained the awareness, you've gotten to a point where we can work with our higher selves, with the masters of the records, with God, Goddess, the universe, the masters of loving light, whatever you want to call them, the source, the creator, divinity, that you can work with this energy to find forgiveness for everybody involved and grace, especially for yourself, forgiveness for yourself, grace for yourself and for others. And then let go of these beliefs, of these unresolved emotions, of this ancestral karma, these traumas that have happened, whatever it is in your life. You get to a point where you can work with this energy and let this go. And magic is created. New patterns are set in. Your Akashic record is rewritten. It no longer says you were traumatized and now you're a survivor of trauma. No, these things are gone. It is rewritten, and now you're just the empowered being that you were always meant to be. Whatever is going on, whatever the healing, I use trauma as an example because of my own personal journey with healing and working in the Akashic Records. To me, this is one of the more, there's a logical approach as you kind of work through these steps, but it's so magical. It's so magical, the transformations that can happen in our lives as we logically work through the magic of healing, of energetic healing, and within the Akashic Records.
And what you focus on persists. So if you're focused on magic, then guess what? More magic will come into your life. More magic will happen. You'll see more magic.
Ding, ding, ding. I like magic in my life. I think I'll focus on the magic.
I think this is a great place to
I feel like
wrap up.
I feel like I've said what I wanted to say, and I sure hope I've conveyed my point and excitement about bringing together magic and logic, that it really is together. It's just a matter of being aware that these things coexist as one, but we may view them as different energies or different components or think of it as different. But magic and logic are really one. They really are together. They work hand in hand so beautifully if you're open to it
Yeah.
and will allow it.
I mean, because if you take logical actions based on your intuitive guidance and the guidance that you receive in the Akashic Records, then that just creates even more magic.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can really exponentially transform your life.
Yeah, this is something we've hinted at in recent podcasts, but we're teaching Akashic Attunement, A Journey to Intuitive Mastery, and we're just in the middle of that course, and it's just, we are so vibing it, and it has been awesome laying down how to access the Akashic Records for other people, and I'm blown away with this. This stuff's near and dear in our minds, fresh right now, and just in our hearts always.
Yeah, this Thursday will be our third class, and then we'll wrap up on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's been such an amazing journey. It's been such an amazing class to teach. And like each time I like upload the videos and go through the coursework, I'm just kind of blown away with how much information is there and how valuable it is. I don't think I've ever been more proud of anything that I've been a part of.
I have that same vibe of like when we retooled our soul journey readings to be solely our own, and kind of like, took our mentor's work and then made it our own and like refashioned it and added to it. I have that kind of just super joy and vibe and pride about this course.
Yeah.
And having the recordings that we're able to put up so people can join us live or follow on their own online on their own time. It's just been a really cool experience. And I'm looking forward to wrapping it up this coming week and having our last two courses. And then, I'll be a little sad that we're not going to meet next week, but there's going to be more students in the future, and just, build this thing and help others access the records. It's super cool. If this is something you're interested in gaining this skill set to tap into your own soul's record yourself, or explore whatever areas of the Akashic Records you want, then sign up for our newsletter, Soul Vibe Oracle, and you will be the first to know when we open the doors again to Akashic Attunement, A Journey to Intuitive Mastery, where we teach you exactly how to access the Akashic Records on your own and meet your Akashic spirit guides and start that lifelong relationship with them and working together. And you'll have an attunement of Reiki energy, be attuned to the Akashic field forever. It's kind of hard to talk because I'm smiling so big right now, just even thinking about other people joining us.
Yeah, it's a very powerful course.
Yeah, I'll put a link in the description of this episode, along with the email. If you got any questions about what we're talking about in this show or anything that we're into, just hit us up and drop an email. Had a lot of fun talking with y'all today. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming to our 33rd episode.
Yeah. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you the following Wednesday for episode 34. Hey, soul friends. Thanks for listening to today's show. If you've been resonating with our podcast, Emily and I would be honored if you would share this episode with a friend. Or even better, share this episode on your socials and tag us at Soul Vibe Insights, so we can connect with more amazing, like-minded souls just like yourself. Have a great day.